A floating fountain adds visual interest to a pond or pool. It continuously shoots water several meters high, producing ribbons of cascading water. A submersible pump generates the effect, and all you have to do is just sit back and enjoy the show. A floating fountain is a pleasant sight, but it's also practical. The constant pumping action aerates the water, preventing stagnation that breeds mosquitoes and causes algae growth. Production begins with the flotation ring, which they cast a section at a time. A worker pours a measured amount of plastic powder into the bottom half of a clamshell mold. The mold is attached to an arm, which swings it into an oven and rotates it on 2 axes. As the mold heats up, the powder melts and adheres to the walls of the mold, forming a hollow part. The mold now moves into a cooling zone, where it first rotates in front of a fan, then under a cool spray of water. The constant turning minimizes sagging or buckling in the plastic as the hollow part cools and solidifies inside. The mold opens, revealing a quarter section of the flotation ring. Stainless steel inserts for attaching it to the other sections have been embedded into the plastic. They now mechanically push the hollow part underwater. This is a test. They pump air into it and check for bubbles that would indicate a hole. The fountain ring must be leak-proof because water will eventually be added to it to level it. A worker now bolts the 4 quarters together using brackets and the steel inserts molded into the plastic earlier. Next, they focus on the framework for the submersible pump. A mechanical saw cuts the stainless steel parts to size, and a welder pieces them together. Another worker now attaches the completed framework to the brackets protruding from the bottom of the flotation ring. Using a press, they bend steel to create brackets to hold the fountain's lights. They bolt the light brackets to the pump frame in a position to illuminate the upward spray of water. They slide the long tubular casing for the pump and its motor through brackets on the bottom of the frame. This is the pump. It's open to display the inner workings. Those steel discs are the impellers that will force water upward. The next employee applies PVC glue to attach a flange to the pump assembly. The flange will be used to connect the pump to the fountain's plumbing. He inserts the pump and motor assembly into the casing. The motor has been hermetically sealed to keep water out. Using a special gripper, he pulls the assembly all the way through the tube to complete the installation. He spreads more glue onto the flange and attaches a PVC elbow that links it to the rest of the plumbing. The entire assembly is painted black, so the fountain workings will seem to disappear underwater when viewed from the surface. With the assembly now flipped right side up, they install the lights. Then a worker screws a circle of 8 brass nozzles onto a PVC base. These nozzles will split the flow of pumped lake water into 8 sprays and configure them in a circle. He tightens each nozzle to ensure the connection will withstand the powerful and perpetual pumping action. He places the nozzle assembly on the plumbing protruding from the fountain raft and twists the threaded ends together. This connection must be extremely tight. Another worker then rolls a sheet of perforated steel to build a tubular screen to filter the water as it flows into the pump. The screen fits perfectly onto the intake end of the pump and motor tube. With the floating fountain now complete, it's ready to be wired to the control panel. This panel will be positioned lakeside for on-site activation and programming of the timer. The floating fountain is now ready for launching. This particular one is a larger version of the one we saw being built, but big or small, it's all about going with the flow.